Donald John Trump, born on June 14, 1946, in Queens, New York, is a businessman, television personality, and politician who served as the 45th President of the United States from January 2017 to January 2021. He was elected as the 47th President of the United States in 2024, making him the second person in American history to serve two non-consecutive terms. Donald Trump was born to Frederick C. Trump, a real estate developer, and Mary McLeod Trump. Raised in a wealthy family, he attended New York Military Academy and later graduated from the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania in 1968 with a degree in economics. Trump began his career in the family real estate business, the Trump Organization, eventually taking over its leadership in the early 1970s after his father's death. Under Trump's leadership, the Trump Organization expanded significantly, focusing on high-profile real estate projects, including hotels, casinos, and skyscrapers. His most famous real estate ventures include the Trump Tower in Manhattan and properties such as Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida. Trump's branding also became iconic, turning his name into a global brand associated with luxury and real estate. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Trump was known for his flamboyant style, often courting controversy. He also faced significant business setbacks, including multiple bankruptcies and the closure of his Atlantic City casinos. Despite these challenges, he remained a prominent public figure, using media coverage to maintain his status. Trump's political ambitions were apparent long before he sought the presidency. He flirted with the idea of running for office several times, and in 2011 he became a vocal advocate for the birther movement, questioning President Barack Obama's citizenship, a stance that attracted significant media attention. In June 2015, Trump announced his candidacy for the 2016 Republican nomination for president. His campaign quickly gained traction due to his outsider status, strong personality, and controversial statements on immigration, trade, and national security. Trump positioned himself as a populist, appealing to disaffected working-class voters who felt left behind by the political establishment. His rhetoric, particularly his criticism of illegal immigration and the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA, resonated with many voters in key swing states. Despite being seen as a long shot by political pundits, Trump defied expectations and secured the Republican nomination. He faced Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton in the 2016 presidential election. The campaign was marked by personal attacks, contentious debates, and scandals, including the release of the infamous Access Hollywood tape. However, Trump ultimately won the Electoral College in a stunning upset, securing 304 electoral votes to Clinton's 227, while Clinton won the popular vote by nearly 3 million votes. Trump's victory was seen as a reflection of his ability to galvanize a large portion of the electorate, particularly white working-class voters in the Rust Belt. Trump's presidency began on January 20, 2017, and was immediately marked by controversy. His administration's first major policy initiative, the repeal of the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, failed in the Senate despite attempts to pass legislation on healthcare reform. In contrast, he successfully enacted a major tax reform bill in December 2017, which included corporate tax cuts and changes to individual income tax rates. Trump's foreign policy was defined by a America First approach. He withdrew the United States from international agreements such as the Paris Climate Accord and the Iran nuclear deal, while renegotiating trade agreements like NAFTA, which was replaced by the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, USMCA. He also pursued an aggressive stance on immigration, including efforts to build a wall along the southern US border and implementing a travel ban targeting several predominantly Muslim countries. One of the most defining features of Trump's presidency was his relationship with the media. He frequently clashed with journalists, calling them the enemy of the people and dismissing critical coverage. His use of social media, particularly Twitter, became a defining characteristic of his communication style, enabling him to bypass traditional media channels and speak directly to his supporters. In foreign affairs, Trump took an unorthodox approach, engaging in high-stakes diplomacy with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. His administration also saw significant shifts in U.S. relations with China, including the imposition of tariffs in an escalating trade war. Trump's presidency was marred by a deeply divided political landscape. His impeachment by the House of Representatives in December 2019 on charges of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress was largely seen as a consequence of his interactions with Ukraine. He was acquitted by the Senate in February 2020. The impeachment, combined with his controversial handling of the COVID-19 pandemic, which began in early 2020, led to widespread criticism. The pandemic reshaped his final year in office, as Trump faced criticism for downplaying the virus's severity, promoting unproven treatments, and frequently clashing with state governors. In the November 2020 election, Trump lost his bid for re-election to former Vice President Joe Biden. However, he and many of his supporters falsely claimed the election was rigged, leading to the January 6, 2021, Capitol insurrection, when a mob of his supporters stormed the U.S. Capitol in an effort to overturn the election results. Following the events of that day, Trump was impeached a second time, becoming the first president in U.S. history to be impeached twice. He was acquitted again by the Senate. After losing the 2020 election, Trump remained a significant figure in Republican politics. His refusal to accept the election results and continued influence over the GOP fueled speculation about his future political plans. In November 2022, Trump announced his candidacy for the 2024 presidential election. Trump's 2024 campaign focused on many of the same themes that defined his first presidential run, including economic populism, immigration reform, and opposition to the political establishment. His rhetoric continued to resonate with a significant portion of the electorate, leading to a decisive victory in the Republican primaries. In November 2024, Trump was elected as the 47th President of the United States, defeating Kamala Harris in a closely contested election. Trump's second term marks another chapter in his unique and often controversial political career. His return to office is seen by many as a continuation of his populist movement, though his leadership style and the political climate in the U.S. have evolved since his first term. Donald Trump's legacy remains deeply contested. Supporters view him as a transformative figure who challenged the political status quo, cut taxes, reshaped the judiciary, and pursued policies that prioritized American interests. Critics argue that his presidency was marked by divisiveness, undermining democratic norms and inciting extremism. Regardless of perspective, Trump's impact on American politics is undeniable, and his place in history as both the 45th and 47th President of the United States reflects his lasting influence on the country's political landscape.